Hello, Aldwyn Altuney here. We have a fantastic interview for you today with two amazing women from the Gold Coast. We're talking today about how the 11 universal laws can transform your business and life. We have Karen Clark and Sharon Sewell here. I'll do a little intro for both of you. Welcome, welcome. So firstly about Karen. Now, Karen's actually she's passionate and dedicated to helping women in business to make a difference by becoming a raving success. She knows the things that hold us back from having that success we crave, things like fear, doubt, not being as good as our competitors, or the imposter syndrome. Having been an entrepreneur for 30 years herself, sometimes it's even simply the unwillingness to become uncomfortable that she deals with. Karen introduces topics in a way they don't teach at university, such as physics, law, and collaboration. She coaches her clients on how to collaborate with the best collaboration partner there is, the universe teaches them, which is the 11 universal laws, which are as real as the law of gravity or thermodynamics, and all about the quantum world. Also, how to have a quantum leap to create amazing desired results in your business and life. She's an entrepreneur with a high-risk profile, having grown and invested in businesses in varied industries. And we say high risk because she's also into motorbike riding sometimes. And she's made, spent, and lost millions over the past 30-plus years. Knowing the value of continuing to learn and improve, she never stops learning and growing and shares her wealth of knowledge diligently with her clients. And she has a heap of certifications to her name: Certified Life Mastery Consultant, NLP Coaching Practitioner, Timeline Therapy Practitioner, Certified Modern Hypnosis Practitioner, and Master Coach. Amazing, Karen. So that's a bit about Karen Clark. And Sharon. Now, Sharon is originally from South Africa. She attended Somerset College on the Gold Coast and completed a diploma in marketing, and then spent 6 years in London in the printing industry as a senior graphic designer. She returned to Australia and started a small printing business called Varsity Graphics with her parents in 2004. She's married and has an 8-year-old son. Her family have been in the printing industry now for over 35 years on the Gold Coast, and she's now running as a candidate for Pauline Hanson's One Nation in the upcoming Queensland election. She was involved in Girl Guides for many years, and her family love Queensland and the great outdoors and spend most of their spare time camping or four-wheel driving, bushwalking, boating, and visiting all the great places the state has to offer. It's not a bad place to be locked down here in Queensland, that's for damn sure. And of course, Sharon, you're Karen's client, so they just kind of had a bit of a ring to it. So Karen, you've been working with Sharon, and welcome to both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us here today. So we've heard a little bit of your background. So what brought the two of you together? Who'd like to share?
I can go first. So on the Gold Coast, we had this event called the Commonwealth Games, which everyone will remember. And it had quite a devastating effect on small business. Our business was going along well, growing, and then we were blindsided by the Commonwealth Games. And besides us and many other businesses on the Gold Coast, it was like our worst sales in, close to 10 years because of the fear that got put into everybody. And if the fear is, drove everybody away. So anyway, it was quite devastating for the business. It wasn't something that we were ready for. I didn't want to ever happen to the business again. So as the year went on, I decided I really needed to do something, but I was at a bit of a blockage, and I reluctantly went to a networking breakfast one day. And I met Karen there, and she said that she helps entrepreneurs and get blockages out. So we had our meeting, and that's how it happened. It was just I went to a networking meeting in the local area because I thought it would be good for me to go and meet some other local businesses to try and build the business up again too. So it was. And every time I go to a networking event, I always think that you've got to try and get one thing out of it at least, or meet one person. So I had the meeting with Karen, and that's where it went, and the business skyrocketed from there. And I've got another course in life now too after meeting Karen. So Karen, how did it all happen for you?
Yes, Karen, how was it for you?
Yeah, and that's amazing, because that is exactly how it works. It's like you put it out there that you were looking for something, and it's not by chance that you went to that meeting and that we met each other. And people, people don't always believe this or understand it, but if you did, every time you ask for something, you'll get it. People don't learn to ask for things and put it out there, and yet that is how it works. So yeah, for me it was great. It was one of my first networking. I only recently joined that networking group as well. It was one of my first meetings with them, and Sharon and I had a catch up there. I can't remember whether we had one of the 10-minute specific catch ups or whether we just were attracted to one another. But we had a chat, and I offered Sharon a complimentary strategy session, which is what I do 1 or 2 a week of these as my giving back. And then one of my favorite things to do, because I don't charge for them, they're complimentary and they're just such a blast. People love them. People get a lot out of them. So we did that, and then Sharon decided from there, once she understood more about what I coach, decided to participate in one of my 6-month coaching programs, which has been amazing, and we've gone on from there. So I've really enjoyed working with you, Sharon. It's been really wonderful. She's a wonderful student. She just soaked everything up and did everything that we talked about. And the coaching I don't direct people. It's not directive coaching. It's what we call now I've lost the word. Evocative. It's called evocative coaching, where we actually ask questions to have the person who we're coaching or the people we're coaching come up with the answers. Because there's not one question that any of us can ask of the universe that for which there is no answer. There's always an answer for every question. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you are the quantum queen, Karen, so you know all about this. And I'm very curious about these 11 universal laws that we have mentioned here that you can see scrolling along the bottom there. And we are talking about how the 11 universal laws can transform your business and your life. So I don't know if you want to go through all 11 of them, but I'd love to hear
them. I can say what they are for sure. So actually, awesome. Sharon and I are working on that program at the moment. It's a very powerful program, and everything I coach is all about perspective and beliefs. And when people are enlightened and more aware to what really causes our results, it's the change and the difference is so profound. So we have the first universal law as a law of thinking, and that basically says that every result we have comes from our thoughts, and we're thinking 60 to 70 plus thousand thoughts a day, and most of them as humans, it's natural, that's what we do, and most of them we're completely unaware of, and 90% of our thoughts are the same thought that we had yesterday. And as humans, we are brought up to think about the things we don't want, the problems we have, the challenges, and the things that have gone wrong. And what we teach people is that another law is called the law of non-resistance. And that means you get what you focus on. So what it's saying is what you resist persists, and what we don't want, we focus on. We focus on the fact that we don't want it, and what if, and all of the things that could go wrong. And so with the law of thinking, to go back to it, because we're focusing on what we don't want, 90% of the thoughts are the same every day on what we don't want, what we don't like, what challenges we have just encountered, and all of that. Then we're putting also into place the law of non-resistance, which says you get what you focus on. So we teach people to learn how to notice what they're thinking, check in every now and then, because most of it's in our unconscious, we're not even aware of them. Check in and then change that thinking. And the way we do it is one of the main principles that we start with first is to have that outcome clearly defined, a specific, clear vision of where we want to be in, say, 3 to 5 years' time. So we start with that. Like, you've got to have your destination in mind. You can't get the car packed up and ready to go on a holiday and not know exactly where you're going, because you'll just drive around aimlessly, right? And it's the same with our lives. So, yeah. So that's the law of thinking. Then we have the law of supply, we have the law of attraction, which has two parts to it for it to work, whereas most people think, oh, if I just want something and think about it, it'll be attracted to me. No, you have to have a desire and an expectation that that's going to happen with gratitude. And then we have the law of receiving, and the law of receiving says that you have to give to receive. So an example of that is that you have to give wood to the wood burning stove in order to get heat. And it's a very, very profound law. And the more you give of what you want, the more you'll receive. So if you practice giving every day in an area that you want, if you want more love, you give more love. If you want more time, you give more time, which is interesting because it's the opposite to how we think. And then there's the law of increase, which is the law of praise. It could be called the law of praise. So that which you praise increases. So we once again, we alert people to think about praising other people in their lives, other things. Praise the business that you're paying the money to, and notice what changes when you praise people and things and circumstances. Then there's a law of compensation, the law of non-resistance I already mentioned. There's a law of forgiveness, which is very, very powerful, and that talks about perception, that actually everything in life is either a cry for love or an act of love. And when you can see that in any situation that other person is either asking for love or giving an act of love, and of course love is the highest vibration on the planet.
I've got the props to go with what you're talking about.
Love is the highest vibration on the planet. Gratitude and love, and that's the other thing, is it's all about energy, and I'll go into that later. But love is the highest vibration on the planet, and it is told in history that Wernher von Braun, the scientist who was the facilitator of putting a man on the moon in the 60s and returning him safely, a man on the moon for the first time and returning him safely, it was told that when he was asked by the President of the United States, John F. Kennedy, wasn't it? Is that right?
I'm not sure exactly. Good question. Good question.
When he was the president, when he first went into power, went to Wernher von Braun, the scientist at NASA, and said, "What will it take to put a man on the moon and return him safely this decade?"
Oh yes, that was JFK. Yes.
Yes. And Wernher von Braun said, "All it will take is the will to do it." So it was an interesting reply, and that's another program we cover, is our 6 mental faculties, and will is one of them. And it's not willpower like we're taught. And it was just to come back to the law of forgiveness and talking about love, is that it was told that he had the word in love in every different language on the planet all around his office. And he said, when he was talking at a meeting with the other scientists, and one of the scientists said, "We can't do it. We have to go through the radiation barrier, and it's never been done." And Wernher von Braun said to him, "If you believe that, you've got no place on this team, because I've already done it with love." Interesting, isn't it?
Yes.
See, they don't teach you stuff in history in schools or in university. And so he did that, he achieved it. And he achieved it because, one, he believed that love was the most powerful force on the planet. And secondly, he believed that all you needed to do something was the will to do it. So that's a law of, a bit about the law of forgiveness. There's the law of sacrifice. There's the law of obedience, which is also not what you think. And there's the law of success. So many wonderful, powerful laws that are all working invisibly 24/7. You better believe it, just like you can believe in gravity. They're all there, and they're all working on us, and we can either join in with them and collaborate with them, or we can just be oblivious and they'll still be working
Oh, I love that, Karen. I saw the sequel to the Secret documentary the other day, The Secret Dare to Dream, it was called, and they had a little segment in there where they showed the forces between a magnet attracting something. They said there's a force there, but you can't see it. You know there's something there because a magnet attracts things to it, right? Yeah. And that's like these universal laws. So they say we use 10% of our brain. You probably know more about this, but that there's all this energy and this the energy, I guess, is what it is, a vibration that's happening with all our thoughts go out and can impact what's happening and our intentions even. And so, really being very conscious of what you're thinking and what you're feeling and what you're actually saying day to day can make a massive impact to your life. And I thought, as you're saying too, I thought about the 4-minute mile. Now, I just did a little bit of research here. The 4-minute mile was first achieved in 1954 by Roger Bannister at age 25. He did it in 3 minutes 59 and 0.4, right? And a lot of people thought the 4-minute mile couldn't happen, right? But since then, now that's been broken in 1954, and now it's over 1,400 athletes have now done the 4-minute mile, right? So isn't that interesting? What we believe. What we believe is possible. We see it happen, and then we suddenly believe. So could you share a little bit more about that? That they say we use 10% of the brain. What do you know about that?
So we definitely, we can achieve, if you go back to these wonderful people in history like Henry Ford and the Wright brothers and all the people who have done things that were at the time either not in existence or in fact impossible. And they dreamed something up in their head. And that's what we do. That's why we start with a vision. It's like, where was a chair before it was a chair? It was a picture in the chair designer's head in detail and clarity, specifically in colour and every single detail, right? And then that chair designer gave it enough energy, attention and focus and took action. That's a really important one among all the others, to bring it to create a blueprint and to take it to the manufacturer to bring it into this physical world. Well, it works exactly the same with every single result we have. So the Wright brothers created that flying machine in their head. And in fact, when they were doing it, their father was a pastor or a minister, and he said to them, boys, if God intended you to fly, he would have given you wings. So they had their father against what they were doing. And when they had failure after failure after failure, and we say there's no such thing as failure, by the way, it's feedback. Right. But, they were trying and it hadn't happened. And one of the brothers said, oh, look, this is just too hard. It's not working. Maybe we should just give up. And, I think it was Wilmer. He said, no, I can see it. We can do it. So what happens is we think, and every thought is a measurable vibrational energy. It's like a wave. It's like a sound wave. It's a thought wave, right? Every single thought is a measurable vibrational energy. And so our thoughts are all out there. And we have only just, as humans, most of us, we only scratch the surface of what we're capable of doing. We all have the potential to do what those people who have changed history have done. We're all the same, right? If we can think something, we can achieve it. Anything we can think up is possible. And once we think it up, by the way, once that chair was created in that chair designer's head, or the flying machine was created in the Wright brothers' head, it actually exists in the quantum world. It's in existence. In fact, even before we thought it up, it could be in existence. But once we think it up, it's then in a place in existence where it can be brought to fruition. Now, if we don't do those things, give it enough attention, energy, focus, and take action, it'll just stay there. Stay there in the quantum world, stay there in our unconscious minds. And so when someone tells me, I want to do something, and I help delve deep to say, what is it you would love? Like Sharon, when she said, I want to do this, I present to them, I keep moving the wrong way. I present to them that we are capable of doing whatever we want. Like if you have that thought, that desire, that dream, you can do it. But what happens is the things that stop us normally stop most people. So it's firstly, usually not believing in ourselves to be able to do it. And that comes back to either feelings of not being good enough, feelings of not being worthy, feelings of perhaps not being liked or being loved. And then we have the fear. Number one is fear, but it's related to something else. So it could be fear of failure or fear of people thinking things about us, or, you know, fear of not being good enough. And these are what hold most of us back. So the people who have done extraordinary things were able to overcome that. And we all can do that, every single one of us. And, you know, the great thing is that whatever the result, even if we don't actually end up achieving in the beginning, like you might have all those failures that we call feedback, the great thing is who you become, having worked through those processes. And that's what that's my reward, is seeing people change. They actually change who they are because they have to, in order to be that person living in that vision that they've created for what it is they want.
So powerful, Karen. It's amazing. And you know, to know what you want, you need to know where you are currently too, right? So, you know, that's a really important part of it, is actually have a reality check of where are you and where do you want to be. And no doubt you went through that process with Sharon. And I'm very curious as to how you went from business coaching to, Sharon, you now being a One Nation candidate. So would you like to share how that journey happened for you?
Okay, well, I have been in small business on the Gold Coast for a long time now, and all our clients or most of them are small businesses. So I really understand, you know, what's out there. And then after, you know, the Commonwealth Games, and we got the business back up and running with Karen, and it was going good. And then the COVID crisis happened. And luckily we had the business built up because of that. And it obviously was pretty grim for a while. And one of the worst days of my life ever was the day I had to stand down all my staff. As I'm sure it would have been for many thousands and thousands of people, you know, on the Gold Coast and all over Queensland and all over Australia. It was you know, a very, very tough time. And my dad's my business partner, and he just kept saying, you know, we got through the Commonwealth Games, we're going to get through this. And so it was pretty grim for a while, and I couldn't see a light at the end of the tunnel, like for it all. And through that, obviously COVID's done a lot of things to people. It's like woken people up to a lot of issues. And I was, you know, pretty down, and between Karen and, you know, some other people around me, they just said, you've got to do something about it, and, you know, not get so down about it. And I've always had a huge interest in politics, especially being in business. So, you know, I've been a, you know, big follower of conservative politics quite a lot. And both, you know, my husband was he knows how much I love politics, like it's in the house all day. And he, you know, pushed me, you've got to do something about this. You can't, like, just let it happen. And so I was still in talks with Karen a lot about it. And I went back into the business with a different view, and we started, you know, looking at different ways of getting different business through the door. And then through that as well, I decided that I wanted to get into politics, and because of the resilience that Pauline Hanson has, I've always looked up to her, and I felt that that's how I was becoming with the business. And so I thought, I'll just volunteer with them for a bit and see how it goes, and just see how it all works. For this election, I'll volunteer and help out. So I applied to be a candidate for Gavin, which is the area that I live in. I live in Nerang, and I really didn't think that anything would happen. And then, you know, went through the process of interviews, and, you know, really pledged my support for small business, and how I don't feel in Parliament there's any real life grassroots people that know small business. And even at the moment, you hardly even hear the words being used with the election coming up. You know, we employ more people than anybody else in the whole country. And all the taxes we pay for all our health and safety and all that kind of thing. And I just really feel that there needs to be a true voice for small business. So that's one of the reasons I did it. Anyway, I got accepted, and now it's the roller coaster's been going on, like having a family and the business, and now running as a candidate for One Nation. And as I said before too, I love the outdoors in Queensland, and I don't want to get that taken away from us. So that was another big issue of the reason why I've done it. And obviously joining a party like One Nation, I had concerns about my family and things negative impacts of it. So doing the laws with Karen has completely turned that around. And you most probably know a few politicians. You've got to have a tough skin, and you can't expect it to be rosy like all the time. No. The poor leaders at the moment, no matter what decisions they make, they get like roasted for it. So, but doing the laws, I've actually, and like things like the law of attraction, I now have so many great people around me. I'm getting a positive response, and I'm not concerned about as much things as at the beginning. So Karen helped me through all that, and made me realise about things like the thoughts that are going through your head. I realised what I could do with my small business and how long I've been around, and I just want to be a voice for the real people and for Australians, and want our way of life to, keep the way it is. I was born in South Africa, so, I've seen what's happened over there, and I am like grateful every single day for the day that my parents moved us to Australia. I worship the ground that we walk on here because of the freedoms that we've got, and I get to live in such a beautiful part of the world, with a small child, where we have beautiful beaches and beautiful rainforests, and I get the freedom of having a small business. And I don't think we realise how much freedoms small business brings to the world. We don't want to be forced into only using large corporations, and it gives us freedom of choice. So I'm just grateful for everything that's here, and I just want it to be safe, and a place where people want to start businesses and have families and have freedoms, and just all those kind of things. So that's where it comes from. I initially was mainly a voice for small business, but so much other things there are too, especially with all the things that have come out of COVID. So now I'm on a roller coaster journey of all sorts of different things.
Yeah, wow, amazing. And, One Nation, Pauline Hanson, you have to admire her resilience and, the crap that she's put up with, and how she keeps standing for what she believes in, even though people say she's racist and they say all sorts of things about her. I have to admire her resilience, that she still keeps on going, and she's been through all that hardship. And, she's a very inspiring lady, no matter what you think of her policies and her thoughts. So I think, as a female, as a woman, she's someone to be admired with just her resilience alone, right? Yet alone all the other things she's done. But, she has that in spades, and I love how she talks her mind. I just, whether you agree or not, I love how she speaks her truth, and she speaks her no matter what people think. And that's the thing, is if you're going to put yourself out there in any way, whether it's politics, in business, in life, the more you step up, the more you're going to have people that love you and people that hate you. Just look at Donald Trump, right? He's a perfect example. I can't believe how much crap they give Donald Trump, right? And he just keeps on going, right? He keeps on going. And that's the thing, is to survive in the industry and to thrive, you need to stay in your truth. And I do believe in the power of one. And it's interesting, you're from South Africa, because one of my favorite films is can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm here. Okay. One of my favorite films is The Power of One. Yes, I can.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me? Am I coming across?
Yes.
Oh, we are. Okay. We're doing with live streaming, so if the internet cuts out. But no, I can still hear you. So The Power of One is one of my favourite films, which was set in South Africa during World War II. And it's actually a 1992 drama film based on Bryce Courtney's 1989 novel of the same name. Amazing film about a South African boy raised under apartheid and his conflicted relationship with a German pianist. So, and it's a coloured boxing coach and an Africana romantic interest. So very powerful film, The Power of One. And really, The Power of One is such a good analogy of, I do believe in the power of one, and I believe in you. I say this again and again when I do my media workshops, and it takes something to step up in politics, in life, as I say, and, to build that confidence up in yourself, it takes something. So, Karen, what strategies have you got for how to build confidence?
Well, that's a good question.
There's a curveball question for you.
So what I do is I introduce people to what stops them being confident. So there's a couple of things. If we do it with my coaching, then I introduce people to the things like fear, and how fear is actually our imagination creating fear in our head. And I had a situation where I really experienced it myself, where I was at this boot camp thing, and they wanted us to climb up this double height lamppost. You know what a lamppost is here? Do you call them a lamppost?
Yes, yes.
Double height lamppost, and
yes.
We had to shimmy up it on these big, footholds, and then we had to get to the top, and we had to stand up on top of it. So we were up there, all that height, with nothing to hold on to. And then we had to launch ourselves off it and hit this big ball that was about a metre away. And then we were in a harness, and then they'd pull the ropes, and we'd be suspended, and they'd let us down. And so, I was a motorcycle rider, and I ride pretty, I don't ride anymore, actually, because I had a big accident and gave it away, but I rode pretty hard in those days. And so I was like, I can do this. I watched a couple of people do it, and I was like, I can do this. This is nothing compared to the way that I ride. And I only got about a third of the way up the first lamppost, and I started getting really nervous, and my heart started pounding. And I was like, what's going on here? Come on, you can do this. I'm not even afraid of heights. Well, it continued to the point where, honestly, I kept climbing, and I got so much physical response. And this is what I teach people, is that our thoughts can create a physical response. People's cheeks go red because of a thought. There's nothing embarrassing necessarily, but they think something embarrassing happening, right? People get sick in the tummy when they're going to do something that they're afraid of, but they're not really running away from any danger. We experience a fight or flight physical responses so much, and that's the problem with us being humans, is that stress causes us to do that, and we don't do the run that gets rid of the chemicals that are produced like a zebra would if it was being chased by a coyote. And so I got to the top, and by the time I got to the last rung, where I still had the lamppost to hold on to, I was so afraid. My heart felt like it was jumping out of my chest. And I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? And I sort of looked down, everyone's going, come on, you can do it. And I'm like, what do I do now? And they're like, keep going. So I really had to talk to myself, and I'd seen other people do it and saw how safe they were, and saw them get, pulled by the harness and be hanging in the air quite peacefully and safely. And honestly, I had to really push myself to step up on top of that top rung and then onto the lamppost, and then get off by hitting this ball. But I just did it. I just said, come on, just do it, get it over with, get it done. But what my point is that then once I was there, I was like, oh my gosh, that fear was all nothing in my head. I knew I was safe. I had this full harness on. I wasn't even thinking necessarily about what could happen, and yet I still had the physical reactions going on. So I teach people that fear is not real. That's the first thing. and how to notice the things that are holding us back, how to notice those thoughts that are saying you're not good enough, you're not worthy, people are not going to like you, because they're there, you know, whichever form they come in, as humans, they are there. And then the way that we overcome it is by that vision. Like I said, create the destination, the outcome, the vision that you want, and then make the decision and the commitment that you're doing it. And when you're very, very clear that, yes, this is what I want, I don't know how, but I want this, I would love this, I'm committed to getting there, then when those thoughts come up, you can recognize that they're the witch in the head with a bee, not the intuitive, helpful thoughts, and you say, go away. So it's part of checking in on a regular basis to know they're there, learning a system or creating a system where we do check in, otherwise it's happening without us knowing it. So my master coach, Mary Morrissey, says every time she touches a handle of some kind, she checks in with what am I thinking. Some people put spots up. So with Mary, it's a handle. So it's a door handle, a cup handle, a car door handle, any kind of handle reminds her to check in, where are my thoughts? And so if we're feeling contractive, if our emotions are, they give us an idea of what our thoughts are, because there's an equation. Your thoughts cause your feelings and emotions, which then cause the actions that you take, which cause your results. So you can see what you're feeling will give you an indication to what your thoughts are. So if you're feeling not so great, a little bit nervous or anxious or anything like that, then check in with your thoughts. What are they? And so I teach people to go, you don't have to buy into this stuff, you know, the stuff that's going on with the part of your brain that wants to keep you surviving. That's what produces these thoughts. It's a part of your brain that simply wants to make sure that you're surviving. And so you can say, no, actually, you're wrong. I'm doing this. This is my vision. This is what I'm committed to. And that is a higher vibration. So when we create the vision with people, when you look at what it is you would love and you get a detailed, specific picture of that and you think about it, you're once again, your thoughts are at a higher vibration. So it's about getting the synergy.
Synergy and energy, was it?
Yeah, it's about being in synergy with that energetic vibration rather than the normal, as a human vibration that we're in, which is worry, doubt, fear, all those other things, as often as you can. And, you know, there's a famous quote there's a dispute as to who wrote this quote. I thought it was Einstein. And when I was talking with Tony Lontis, she said that it's actually by another person. So if you look up the internet, you'll see both. But he says this, whoever wrote it, everything is energy. That's all there is. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and it cannot help but be yours. This is not philosophy, it is physics. And it is.
Very powerful.
What it means is, match the frequency of what you want, which is your vision, and that's at a much different frequency. You start thinking about that all the time, and it cannot help but be yours. It will be attracted to you. People's circumstances, conditions, situations will appear like with your reticular activation system. You'll notice them. They're there all the time, by the way. Just like when you wanted to buy a car, your reticular activation system showed you all those cars the same on the road, those hundreds or more of cars on the road, which didn't just appear, they were there all the time. So the circumstances, opportunities are there all the time, but we don't always see them and take notice of them and take action.
I'd love to dig a bit deeper in this. Like some of my goals that I have is I started the Global Good News Challenge during COVID to help inspire more gratitude and good news. And one of my goals is to have 1,000 people who have done good news challenges, who I call Good News Crusaders, by the 8th of the 8th next year, which is the Good News Day next year, right? So that's one of my goals. Another goal I have is I want to host a late night studio show, like a Dave Letterman type show, you know, comedy with comedy music and positive news. So that's another one of my goals. I haven't put a date on that one, but, you know, these are specific goals. I'd love 1,000 members in my media program, in the Mass Media Mastery program by the end of next year. So these are just some of my goals that I have. So can you tell us a bit about goals versus vision, and what does a vision look like, and what is your vision? I'd love to hear your vision, and as well as Sharon's vision as well.
So yeah, that's a really good point. When you were saying that, I was going to say that. Yeah. So there's a big difference between our goals and our vision. So the vision is the big picture. And what I do is when I'm doing a strategy session with people to get their business blueprint and their life blueprint, we call it an energetic blueprint of your life. Your vision statement is an evolving energetic blueprint of your life. And so what we do is we delve into the 4 areas of our lives, or the 4 domains that we create results in, because as humans, we're creators, we're manifestors, we do it anyway. Okay, you can't not be a manifester. What happens is, because of our thoughts being what we don't want, we manifest what we don't want most of the time. So, so what we do is we say, in the 4 areas, which are your health and well-being, your relationships and loved ones, your business career or vocation, whether it's paid or not, and your freedom, your time and money freedom. Those are the 4 domains that we create our results in. There's our spirituality as well, which is intermingled between them all. And so what we do is, in a session like that, and Sharon and I have done more than one of those, because it is an evolving, so it can change. And we were doing a bit of that, weren't we, Sharon, when you changed what it is that you decided you were focusing on, and you decided to go into politics. Yeah. So
you go if you finish. So I can have a goal as being an MP, but that all it is a goal. It's not a vision. So you got to actually feel what it's going to be like, and have a proper path, and have that vision of all the different things that are going to happen and what you're actually standing for, rather than just that's what I want to do.
So and I'd love to come back to that, what you're standing for. We'll come back to that. Yes, Karen, back to you.
So with the vision, we do that with the vision statement, and to create that vision, that big picture vision, we incorporate your purpose and your why, like why you're here on this earth. What's your job to do? It's a why that you can never achieve, by the way. Your big purpose you can never achieve in life. You can't say, I've done it. You're always working on it. So my why is freedom for humanity. And it's freedom in the fullest sense of the word, which is freedom from fear and doubt and the things that stop you, plus financial freedom, so that you have choice. People have choice in all of that, okay? That's my big why. More people, as many people as I can give freedom to. So I can never say I've done it, right? And so we incorporate your why, your purpose, your passion, your goals, your vision, the whole lot together. And so with a vision statement, we go through those 4 domains or areas, and we say, what do you want more of and what do you want less of? Because most people don't think about what actually would it be if I was living the life I love. And so I say, what would you love? We limit everything to what we think we can achieve, to what the outside situations and circumstances are, because we think that's what control our results, and it's not. What controls our results is it's an inside-out world. It's our thinking. It's like I said, all the great masters who've changed history haven't said, I don't have enough money to do that. They haven't said, the economy is not going well enough for me to do that. They haven't said any of that. I don't have enough clients or customers to do that, right? And yet that's what we do as humans. We look at the outside of us and say, it's because of that and that and that and that I can't do it. We always refer out there. Or we go to our story and we say, it's because my mother treated me like this, or my parents split up, or, or.
Yes,
and
which is blame.
Which is an excuse for us not achieving what we want. So I get people to do the big picture by delving deep into each domain and describing in detail, in clarity, what would it be if you didn't think it was impossible? What would it be if none of those outside circumstances mattered? What would it be if I waved a magic wand and said, you can do whatever you want, you can have whatever you want? And that way people start to open up. They start to use one of their mental faculties, which is their imagination. And just to think, like often, often, like with Sharon, it was there. She had an interest in politics all her life. And she was brought up with a mother who had an interest in One Nation, right? And so it was there, but it was just like she pushed it away, that I can't do it. No one would want me to be, I'm not good enough, or, who am I to put myself forward? And so we just worked with that. And so that's the big picture. So I get people to be really, really specific. We spend an hour doing this, and just writing down. I take notes while they're going. I say, well, tell me more. What else would you want in your health, in your business, if it was amazing? And they go, oh, I want enough. I want my business to be successful. I want enough money. And I say, no, you can't. The universe doesn't know what enough is to me or you or her or him, because it's different to everyone. So we have to be specific. You have to put a figure on it. How much money do you want to make in profit? Because you can't say even income, because it might get all that in and then 90% of it might go out, right? How much profit do you want in your business or your career? So that's how specific we have to be, How many clients do you want in your business? How do you want them to feel when they've had your services? What do they say about you? That's how detailed. So we get this big detailed picture where it could be several A4 pages long when they write it out, and that's their vision. And when they're finished, I get them to read it to me, and then I give it back to them. And then when they're finished, I say, how do you feel? And every single person I do it with says, wow, I said, do you feel different to when we came on this call? They're like, I feel amazing. I feel like it's possible, because I've connected them into that energetic vibration of what their vision is. And so then I teach people how to do that as often as they can, because it's like the quote, match the energy, right? So a goal is broken down tasks or things you want to achieve towards that vision. So it could be like, I have a vision of making $500,000, as part of my money freedom in 3 years' time. Okay, so the goal is I want to make sure that I've got X number of clients by the end of year 1, year 2, year 3, and I'm bringing in this much. That's a goal. We've lost Sharon.
Sharon was walking. She's probably gone to the bathroom or something.
Yeah.
But wow, that is so powerful what you're talking about there, Karen. Really, really powerful. And, I love that about the vision. Like, I'm a stand for truth, good news, and animal welfare. That's what I stand for. And if I dig deeper into that, really, it's about world peace, right? It's about peace within, peace without. That's what I stand for. So that would be my vision, right? Would that be my vision? Is that correct? Well, part of my vision?
Your vision is how you want your life in every domain, in all those 4 areas, how you want to be living the life that you would love in detail.
Okay, it's a lot more detail.
Picture. Yeah, it's like a picture painted in words, and that picture in your head.
Yes.
And you become the person living that vision. So you imagine yourself, if your life was the way that you wanted it in all those 4 domains, what would it look like? And then you imagine yourself living that life, because when you do that, you also hook into that energetic vibration again. So, we can do a strategy session.
Yeah, amazing. I'd love to dig deeper into that. And vision boards can help with this?
Yes. Vision boards are different to what we do, but they are a tool to help people get in touch with some of the things that they would love. Yeah, absolutely. And
excellent. Because you can visualize it. visualize and feel it. So yeah, I guess you can dig quite deep into, like I would, I'd love to be, living on the beach, and I'd love to have this TV show. It's Sharon back again.
Sorry, it's really bad imagery now. Sorry.
That's
the one.
fine. That's fine.
Get some better
sort that out. And the thing is, Aldwyn, it's even in the way that we speak in our words. So it's not only what we write, but it's how we speak. And you said, I'd like to love. Can you hear the difference if I said, I'm living by the beach, or I'd love to live on the beach?
Yes, I live by the beach. So you say it in present tense, even if you're not living. I'm 10-minute drive from the beach. I go to the beach often. I live on the beach. So you say I live on the beach, present tense.
Yeah, we create our vision for 3 years' time, so that part of the brain that speaks to you and says, how do you think you're going to do this? You haven't achieved it so far. You're not going to be able to do it next month, So we do it 3 years out, and we do it as if it's happened, and we write the story in detail as if it's already happened in the present. Yeah.
I love it. That is fantastic. That is just wonderful. And Sharon, what are some things that you stand for, and what's your vision?
Well, I'm sort of on the same, path as Karen, where I want people to stop living in fear, and live prosperous lives and start having, having freedoms. And I think, that it's things like with speaking to people in the area, like we've got a massive youth crime problem, and, people start living in fear when this kind of thing happens. And so we need to put policies in place to, combat this, and, let the people, and residents, live in safety. So I think it is just, I want people to stop living in fear. That's one of my biggest goals too. And fear is just such a huge blockage for all of, for all of us. Got fear of, lots of different things, and just so many laws and everything that's happening just keeps putting more fear into people. And people need to, live in freedom, and, be able to live in a safe environment to bring up their children. And so yeah, I'd say it's a lot the same as Karen. I just want freedoms, and obviously, like I keep saying, I want to be a proper voice for small business. Even in my electorate, there was 2,500 businesses on JobKeeper, and 7,000 residents on it too. So it just shows how much, everywhere, especially the Gold Coast, relies on small business. I consider us as a small business capital of Australia. There's just, there's so much of it here, and it brings such a great community too, because we, all, need to support each other. And that's something else I'd like to see. Like, obviously, after COVID, there is this, buy local, buy Australian made. We need to keep that. We can't let it get away. But we never should have ended up in this mess in the first place. Like, where we're having to, now, tell everybody to do this. There's other there's certain reasons why we've got in this mess, and now people are going to be our saviors by getting us out of it, where it never should have happened in the first place. And it is very, in my business, it is so, I've just seen how important it is to support local, and in all the areas of the Gold Coast, we just need to keep doing it, and support local. And every time you do go somewhere local, you've got to share it on social media and tell everyone how great the place is. Tell all your friends about it. We've really got to help all these, because when a small business flourishes, that it brings happy families. There's not as much stress. We get to employ people. It just brings a lot. So yeah, and I also just really want to stand for our Australian way of life and the way that we all like to live at the moment, and want to just keep going with that. So getting away from fear and living in freedom and bringing prosperity to, my electorate and Queensland.
Beautiful. That's fantastic. And it's funny you're from Nerang, because Nerang hasn't had the best reputation over the years for crime particularly. And I remember when I was a journalist at the Gold Coast Sun, and I remember Javine Bar Theatre in Nerang, and it was constantly broken into. They had so many. There's a community theatre in Nerang and had so many issues with crime. But I think things have improved a lot now. I think things are getting better in that. And I mean, there's things like ICE now that weren't so big years ago either. There's there's mental health issues out there, and part of that's part of, what I'm standing for is more gratitude. You either come from fear or love, and the mainstream media want people to live in fear. If you believe everything you hear in the media, you're going to be living in fear. So just don't buy into all that stuff, right? Do your own research. It's not true, everything you're hearing. So that's awesome you're standing for that. I think that's absolutely brilliant, and I definitely think we need more of that. We need more love, peace, prosperity, and absolutely brilliant. So what was the process for you to be sort of candidated, Sharon? What did you have to go through, and what's the journey now for you?
Well, you have to fill out a lot of forms, and and then there's interviews. Obviously, there's criminal checks. You can't ever have been insolvent to be in a candidate. Lots of things like that. And obviously, there's lots of checks, and then there's financial commitment. One Nation candidates all fund themselves. So we commit to doing all the funding for whatever marketing or anything that we want to do, which has been actually really good. But a lot of people don't understand that, and the other parties get given taxpayers' money to fund their marketing, where we actually fund it ourselves. And it's been such a great journey, and just getting to meet so many people out there that want to change, and now and feel like they have a voice to to speak up. And I've even got one of my long-term business colleagues and friends. She is now put her hand up to be a candidate because I did. So that's inspiring, and that she said you went and did it, so like she's going to do it now. So I also hope as a a businesswoman to be inspiring through this all as well, and to stand up, because there's a lot of us that sit in front of the television and yell at it, and just are too scared to go out there and say something. So that's how I got here. And now I've got to do all the campaigning, like standing on the side of the road and waving at people, and all the letterbox drops and all those kind of things, and interviews with the media and all that kind of thing. So that's how you get there. And you have to just be hard-skinned and resilient, and really believe in what you want to get out there with your message.
That's fantastic, and the beauty is, look, whether you make it in or not, whether you which hopefully you will, but whether you do or not, the fact is you're getting out there and you're saying what you believe in, what you stand for. You're being heard, and there's no such thing as bad publicity. I did a bit of PR a few years ago for Dean Vegas, who ran for mayor twice on the Gold Coast, and we had an amazingly successful campaign that we did. He didn't make it in as mayor, and he was saying that if he made it in as mayor, he was going to stop being Elvis, because he was the world's best Elvis impersonator. And now he didn't make it in as mayor, but he's been book solid as Elvis, right? So there's no such thing as bad publicity there. And and then we know with politics there's a whole lot of discussion around, particularly with Gold Coast Council, about the block developer funded councillors. And I mean, we've seen just since Tate's been in the last 8 years or whatever, I mean, how long, I think it's been at least 8 years for him, there's been developments going up left, right and centre on the Gold Coast. It's been insane. And so we know that there's a bit of dodgy business that goes on, and I think people want some truth and honesty. They want someone they can trust in politics. And if you come across as that person and you speak your truth, then you speak your truth, you will come across as that person. And I think people really want that now. They've had enough of the lies and the all the dirty games that are played in politics, right? And we just want to be able to trust our leaders. We want people that we look up to and admire. And so what are some of those traits? So back to Karen now. What are some things that make a great leader?
So, it's interesting. I read a piece a while back, and it said something like, if you do anything that helps people to grow, to learn, to be more, to do more, to believe in themselves more, then you're a leader. And, it was interesting. I went to Egypt with Roger Hamilton and 39 or 38 other entrepreneurs in 2010.
Wow.
One of our his Crystal Circle mentoring groups. And we went to the site of the excavation for Queen Cleopatra.
Mm.
And the lady who was excavating it, she didn't normally take people, but Roger Hamilton's got a very persuasive way. And
Yes.
So we went there and she spoke to us, and it was incredible. But she told us why she was doing this, why she wanted to find Cleopatra's tomb. And the reason she wanted to find her tomb was because she believed that Cleopatra was the last, up until then, the last of the feminine rulers or leaders who ruled or led from the feminine virtues. That all the other leaders since her had been like men in women's clothing, if you like. They
Right.
used very much the male way of doing things. And that's true if you think about people like Helen Clark in New Zealand, Maggie Thatcher, all those leaders, female leaders, were very, very masculine in the way they led. And so what she believed is that it's changing from 2010. That it's changing, and that women will be leaders again, and they will lead from the feminine virtues. So I think that Sharon's a really typical example of her beliefs for the good of others, and the ability to inspire and motivate people is a leader. The ability to you hang on to your values and morals and beliefs and be a stand for them, no matter what other people are going to say or think. That's a great leader. And the way to do it with the feminine virtues is the way that I think women leaders will excel, if they allow themselves to be leaders and do it the feminine way, with love and care and nurturing and values that reflect that.
I love that. And how important has it been for you, Sharon, to have a coach, or have Karen as a coach specifically?
Oh yeah, it's been very important. But one of the biggest things that's been created out of it is friendship as well. So that's it was just amazing how that networking meeting gravitated to me towards someone that has so many of the same views as me in life. And I've actually found it quite lonely being a business owner over the years, and this has actually broke me out of a lot of shells, where I'm now getting more surrounded by other people that are that have are in the same space as me, and got rid of a lot of blockages, which stops us all. So that's how Karen did it. But just being able to be surrounded by great people. That's been the greatest thing about knowing Karen, is the friendship that's been created.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And how's it been for you, Karen?
Yeah, it's been great, because Sharon's been an amazing client. I'm really lucky. All the clients I've attracted have been good clients, in that they have studied what I coach and teach and what my programs teach. They've absorbed it all, soaked it all up, taken action. And when that happens, it's like the magic happens, like with Sharon, it's just been fantastic. And like she said, she didn't even tell me she was having record months until some time later, but she's like, since I've been coaching with you, my business has just gone crazy. And that's how it happens, like it's like magic. I don't know how it works, but it works, So yeah, it's been great.
Yes.
And the other thing that's been really awesome is that Sharon and I have both had similar businesses. So for 25 years, I had a business that had big plant and equipment like she does, that, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of hers was printing equipment. Ours was all automotive stuff. Staff, we had up to 10 staff, and really understand because of that what it's like to be a business owner in that situation. Retail premises, when I went out of that business, our outgoings just to cover our fixed outgoings was $500,000 a year we had to make before we made any money. So I understand what it's like to sometimes lie awake at night wondering if you're going to have the money this month to pay the wages and to pay the creditors and to pay everything and have anything left over for yourself, or what it's like to work through Christmas while all your staff have their holidays. And that's why I want to help people, what it's like when you've got a small group like Sharon and I had, sometimes it was 6 staff, 2 or 3 of them are off. That's 50% of your workforce that's off. And you're going to fill it. As the owner, you're the one who fills in. And so that's why I really want to get people in business learn how to be successful so that they get that freedom from all that stuff. How to make their business so successful that they can afford to either bring someone in when they've got people off, out of a workforce that supplies temporary people, or that, they can do things that allow them to have that balance in life that often small business owners don't get. And then the business becomes things they didn't go into business for. It becomes a monkey around their neck. It becomes a liability. It becomes a stress. And we don't want that as business owners and entrepreneurs. That's not why we went into business, So it's been great being able to work through those things with Sharon and share those thoughts and find solutions to all the challenges that we come across as business owners. And then encourage her through and support her through the candidacy as well.
That's really remarkable, particularly, since COVID, some people are paranoid about touching things. So it's amazing that, that you're in the printing industry and it's taken off. So it just goes to show anything's possible, even during COVID and the whole pandemic fiasco that's been happening.
That's because they have to throw every piece of paper out after someone's touched it.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, right. So yes, it's not so good for the environment then in that case. But but it's interesting. Everyone's dealing with it differently, and some businesses are booming. My business has been booming since COVID. I've taken everything online, all my mass media tribe meetups, the Global Good News Challenge. We've got the Animal Action Night for Dogs coming up on Saturday. We're doing a big fundraiser to help save dogs from death row. We've got 14 performers and speakers on Saturday night. We've got our mass media tribe event tonight. I believe in you. It's called so much going on. There's so much opportunity right now, regardless of COVID and regardless of what the media are telling us. There are people collaborating and doing amazing things out there, and the two of you are a perfect example of that. And of course, the Queensland election coming up 31st of October, so only a few weeks away. My goodness! So it's going to be full steam ahead for you, Sharon, and Karen, no doubt. Karen and Sharon. I think it's perfect. Your names sound similar as well. So it's a perfect alignment. It's been such a pleasure having you both on. We could just keep on chatting. It's been over an hour, and we do need to wrap up. So any final words from either of you? Maybe with Karen, start with you. Any final words or how we can support you or connect with you?
Yes, I want to say I've really enjoyed watching Sharon grow and develop and become the person living her vision. She really has changed so much since we met, and it's been a great pleasure to be alongside you, Sharon, in supporting you through that, to become the person that you're hoping to become and will become. Regardless of the outcome, you have changed. You are a different person. Yeah.
Beautiful. How can we connect with you, Karen?
We can. I don't know. You can connect on my Facebook. I have a Quantum Queen page, the Quantum Queen. I have a Quantum Leap TV show, and I have my business page called Clarkishians & Co. So people can reach out to me. I'm really happy for anyone who would like to delve deeper into the work I do to offer that 1-hour strategy session as a gift.
Beautiful. And Moana Robinson and yourself do Tuesdays on Tedder, which is awesome as well.
you.
Hello, Moana. Good to see you there. She's
Yeah.
joined us. That is brilliant. Thank you so much, Karen. And Sharon, how can people connect with you and support you?
Okay, so with Pauline Hanson's One Nation, I have a Facebook page. You can just look up Sharon Sewell One Nation for Gavin. And then all my contact details are on there, so you can contact me through that. And then my printing business is called Varsity Graphics. So we've got you can just look us up, and we've got a website and a Facebook and Instagram and all the usual.
Yeah, fantastic. Actually, there's a new business that's just opened in Varsity Lakes as well called Freedom Potential Centre. And it's actually the first on the Gold Coast, which can be hired as with a full production facility where you can have live events and it can be streamed worldwide. And that's just open in Varsity Lakes. So while other businesses are shutting down, here's a brand new venue that's supporting speakers and business people. So it's awesome. Varsity Lakes is an amazing hub for innovation and great things happening there. So so great to have you with us. Thank you so much, Karen and Sharon, and for everyone watching us, thank you so much for joining us. What did you get out of this show here? If you have been watching, thank you, and please pop in the comments if you're watching this on Media Queen TV on YouTube or on Facebook or wherever you're watching it. Please comment, what did you get out of what you've heard here today? And if you like what you've heard, please share the love. Every little bit helps to help inspire people to live more positive lives and to bring more peace to the world. And your vision, Karen, what was it again? Your vision?
My vision?
Yes.
My vision is to reach 200 people a year through my coaching and to give them freedom in the fullest sense of the word.
Freedom, beautiful. And Sharon, what's your...
I'd like people to stop living in fear and go for a new frontier.
Beautiful, fantastic. Thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. All the best with your candidation, with your election, and with all the work you've got coming up in the next few weeks. You're going to be a busy bee, Sharon. So best of luck with all of that, and wish you well. And please, if you're watching this, support our beautiful guests here today, and reach out if you've got something you want to add as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Please connect online. We will be back again soon. Join the Global Good News Challenge if there's something that you want to help inspire out there. If you're sick of the negative news, then let's help share positive news together, more gratitude, and that will automatically attract more opportunities to yourself by getting into gratitude and appreciation. Moana says, good luck, Sharon. Thank you, Moana. I'll put that up on the screen. Thank you. Great to see you. Moana and I are in the Why Not book actually together. We both co-authors, and we've actually got this afternoon at 3 p.m. The Why Not book that was just launched on the 8th of the 8th, and we're actually doing Ted Circles event this afternoon at 3 o'clock Queensland time as well. So Moana, you rock, Moana. And Melinda says, well, she's clapping there. Thank you, Melinda, for your clap. Much appreciated. Whatever you got out of it, please pop in the chat, and we'll sign out now. Have a beautiful day or night wherever you are in the world, and we'll see you again soon.